Last week here on the Madden YouTube channel, we broke down how to defend the gun bunch strong offset formation, showing you a couple of my favorite coverage shells. Today, we're going to focus specifically on the most spam play in Madden and a special match rule. So let's go ahead and get into it here, starting with our coaching suggestions. Now, when you're facing this particular play, we are going to make sure match is on. From there, we're going to set our zone drops. You're going to want cloud flats set to 30. Your curl flats can be set to 5, but in this particular coverage, we're actually not going to utilize this, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to choose a cover 2 play, but you're going to want the 3 safety rule on. If you guys decide to utilize a formation such as the big nickel over G, which comes with the 3 safety rule stock, you're going to be fine. If you guys opt to use something such as the nickel over, make sure you change the package to free safety 1 inside before you choose the cover 2 in this particular formation. If you guys are in the dollar defense, make sure that you switch the package so it says safeties. Once you do this, you'll be able to call the cover 2 out of this particular formation as well. Now, again, make sure your match is on with this. Now, when we are dealing with the bunch halfback strong, what we're going to do is set up a cover 3 cloud rotation. Keep in mind that with this particular play, our match rule is on. When we run this coverage, what we're going to do is we are going to play an outside third on the backside. We are going to press it. We are going to play a middle third from the weak side safety, and we are going to play an outside third over the top of our bunch. With this particular breakdown, you now have the ability to take your weak side linebacker and put them into a hard flat. Keeping in mind that both the hard flat and the cloud flat on this play are overridden by our zone drop profile, and they're going to drop to 30. What I would recommend doing with this, you can actually press out here on the wide side of the field because a lot of times they'll throw those RPOs out there. This will be fine. You'll be able to react with the cloud flat baseline and pressed. It should be able to get a good reaction on the ball. What's going to happen here with McAfee is he's going to drop kind of slow in the flat and then drop for depth, which is going to be great because it just gives the illusion that he's playing the flat, but he's going to sink into the deep sideline later in the play. Now, as it pertains to the play Durham, the main setup for this is going to be to run the tight end on a drag, the point man on a post, and the running back on a streak. The reason this setup is so valuable is that this is such a great high-low with quick flat options to not only outside on the wide side of the field, but you could throw underneath in the flat to the drag or high-low in the middle with the drag and the post. And if the user takes the post in the middle of the field, a lot of times the running back out of the backfield is a quick throw down the seam with this particular breakdown. Now, this is where we are going to break down how to defend the running back streak because that's the backbreaker route. Keep in mind that when we started this particular video, we talked about our match settings being on. The reason we're doing this is because vertical hooks have a special match condition that occurs when you remove a mid-read zone from a cover 2 defense. So if I blitz Chuck Howley right here, this is going to actually tell our vertical hook to take the running back out of the backfield, which allows us to then worry about the post route. Now, if you decide to not reset your zone drops, it will play spot drop with the blues dropping into the 20-yard range. Right here, we didn't get the exact match principle on this, but it was good enough that if you decided to hike throw this right out of the backfield, you are most likely going to throw an interception or get a knockout. We'll get to how to get Kevin Byard to match this momentarily, but if you take a look at this play here, basically all we have to do with our user is kind of take away the quick throw to the drag and then drop back with the post route. Now, if we decide to play zone drops, keeping in mind that our weak side linebackers dropping to 20, in this instance, we would actually be better served underneath guarding this drag. So let's go ahead and run this again in terms of user responsibility. Again, we're running a cover 3 cloud rotation, and we are going to put our weak side linebacker into the 30-yard setting. Again, when they run this particular setup with the drag in the post and the running back streak, we will, in this setup, take the drag. This is us. You see right here that this is how this ends up being a great coverage defense with our 30-yard cloud flat dropping from the inside underneath of the post route. So again, watch how the post route to the point man breaks over the field, but we have this depth of our hard flat defender dropping to 30. It takes away that throwing lane and it allows us to play underneath on this drag. Now, before we get into the alternate version of this coverage, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel hit that notification bell, drop a comment below, and most importantly, like this video. It's the biggest part of YouTube. It tells YouTube that this channel and this video are helpful. If you guys are struggling with the bunch strong, use this video as a like button, because I assure you it's going to help you, and it's going to help lots of other players just like you who are looking for tips and tutorial content. So let's go ahead and set up that exact same shell, but we're going to add one little step. All we're going to do before we do any of this is we're going to reset our play. Keeping in mind that this is going to reset our zone drop. So those 30-yard blues that we were using in the previous version of this coverage, those are now reset. Now what we're going to do is we are going to play the exact same coverage, but we're not going to have 30-yard settings. So this is actually quite nice, because what we now will be able to do is activate that match rule. Remember I said if we want the match rule, we have to get rid of the mid-read zone, which is fine because that's our user. With this particular setup, when they go with the post, the drag, and the streak out of the backfield, I want you to watch Kevin Byard. We know in this situation, we have a hard flat. I'm not taking the drag. I'm going to run with the middle route, which is our post. So again, let that go. I take this. Now watch how the running back is matched. This is the exact same coverage, but we're just adding a match rule. And this is funny to me because when you talk about 4 strong, a lot of people will go to 4 strong formations, meaning 4 receiving options to one side of the quarterback or the other, to turn off matching rules. But that doesn't apply into the cover 2. So let me show that to you again. You see right here, our zone drops are on. You can see this evidenced by our cloud flats being backed up by the play art. If I reset the play, look how the zone drops are gone. The cloud flats are much closer. We are going to run our cover 3 shell and play a hard flat on the opposite side with the linebacker. So again, we've dropped our zone coverage drops. We're now running match rules on this. We let the drag go because we have a hard flat. I take the post. The seam is matched. We have a cover 3 shell over the top with deep zone protection on both sidelines. And again, with this particular play, if they are peppering the throw quick to the flat here, feel free to go ahead and change your outside corner on the far right into a hard flat. Most players are not going to look at this and think I must throw this. But if you actually look at how this is kind of being guarded here, nothing is actually open. One thing to keep in mind here on the backside, another hidden thing within this match coverage rule is that a pressed third against a solo receiver will play jam and does not get beat over the top. This is really, really good for preventing this from serving as a pull route. In the event that they were to throw a crosser on this, this would actually be quite good. So allow me to show you what that looks like real quick. So I've set up my covered shell. Let's say instead of a post route, they decide to use a crosser. You're now going to see that with this clear out, you're going to be able to basically prevent the crossing route from getting open because the super press animation on the left occurs. And then when you go to throw this, he's going to be able to break back and pick this off. Again, because he's jamming that streak so well, this makes it hard for it to pull him further downfield, and then that crosser doesn't have enough room underneath to get open. So that is today's video. I wanted to break down that special match rule from last week's video. If you guys are fiending for more, make sure you guys go check last week's video out. I break down how this coverage works against pretty much every play in the bunch meta. I specifically wanted to focus on this adjustment because it is very, very good against the running back out of the backfield when your opponent does go 4 strong. This also applies to other formations such as trio halfback week, where you get 3 receivers to one side and the running back in the backfield, and it's your trips tight end style formation. You could use this little matching trick to kind of do the same thing against running back streaks in that formation. Again, the moral of this, get rid of your mid-read zone. Make sure you don't have zone drops on, although this coverage is great when you mix in the zone drops and the actual matching rules, because it plays 2 completely different ways and your user gets to user 2 completely different ways. So same coverage, different user responsibilities. Your opponent thinks it's 2 different plays, but really you know what it is at the end of the day. That's it for today's video. I'm out of here. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.